I drink till the night becomes another day, and the day's just another little thing in our way. There's something about the way you beat me down that I'll never learn. You're the pint of no return, the pain in my chest, the stain on your dress, the glass in my eye. But this life is a joke, and death is the punch.
Mothers of Mayhem! Beep, kids! Welcome to Mothers of Mayhem, an extreme horror podcast.
Hello, children, and welcome.
Children, right now you might be thinking, excuse me, madam, you are not Christina. And this thought is very valid because this is not Christina. This is Donna. Donna is Christina now, and there's nothing any of you can do about this.
Nope, I have won. I have been jealous of these ladies interviewing these amazing authors. And so I kind of tied up Christina in my basement.
Right.
So I could have at least one episode as a co-host.
She's in a dark
victory.
Victory is yours.
Mine.
You're like the mother. You're like the motherfucking Putin of podcasts, Donna.
I am. I'm this. Wow.
Was that too soon? Was that too spicy? Is it too soon for the spicy Putin jokes?
Spicy
Donna?
Putin. Spicy Putin.
Spicy Putin. That is potentially one of the best and worst things to ever fire out of my dumb brain. I'm gonna trademark this. I am trademarking this shit. So if any of you little weirdos end up calling your shitty ass punk bands Spicy Putin, I will 100% sue your asses.
And rightfully so.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you, Donna. Thank you for enabling and validating my unhinged and impulsive tendency to make ridiculous threats I cannot follow through on. Thank you.
Well, I do my best. I do my best.
I am very happy to have you here today. Children, if you are not already aware, this lady here is indeed Miss Donna Latham, indie horror author, celebrity super fan, and honorary Mother of Mayhem. Most recently, she was a featured guest on episode 7, Dreadful Pennies, where we discussed the recent indie horror renaissance and the historical phases of horror, and she was a genius. Welcome back to the show, Miss Donna. Thank you for being my emotional support person today.
Oh, my pleasure. Don't forget, I am also the horror godmother, den mother of horror.
Yes, the den mother of indie horror.
Den mother of indie horror. So children, please, if you need anything, please just let me know. I will direct you to the appropriate books for whatever it is you're looking for. And I'm the den mother because I'm old. I'm old, all gray here.
Donna. We're all old at this point.
Yeah, that shit's true right there.
I feel like it's getting worse and worse every day.
Yeah. Every day, you're just a little bit older.
Well, you guys, Christina could not hang with us today because she is in Donna's basement, buried under a large mountain of dildos that magically appeared via the U.S. mail system. So thank you all for your support and your participation in making that happen. The battle has been won, but the war is not over. So send Christina more send Christina more dildos. This is very important. Donna.
Marian.
Donna, do you know who we're talking to today?
Oh, are we talking to David McCluskey?
We are!
Yes. He's also known under the pen name of D.E. McCluskey. He is a remarkably prolific author, penning titles across various genres, from children's books. Really? Children's books?
Yes, the Seagull's
children's
Tale. Yes.
To subversive, gross out horror. That's just a huge range right there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And not only is David an author, but he is the creator of the comic book series Interesting Times with a Y, TYMES, as well as other graphic novels. I mean, what does this man not do?
It's amazing. You know, he has an amazing graphic novel adaptation of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Beautiful. It's amazing. This is like one of the things I want to talk to him about, because his range is astounding. Like nothing seems to be a barrier for him, and it really I find it highly questionable. There's something off about David McCluskey. Something's not right here.
Something's not right.
You know, another thing that I really love about David is that every time we talk to each other, he always calls me chicken. And I feel like it's like the cutest and funniest term of endearment that anyone has ever slapped on me. And I honestly just can't get enough of it. And because he calls me chicken, in my head, instead of calling him David McCluskey, I call him David McClucky. And he does not know that. But after he watches this, he will.
He will. McClucky. And you know, now I'm going to be calling him that too.
Clucky. In my head, he is Clucky. And now he is Clucky to the entire listening community. David, you're welcome. Donna, I believe you have been reading David's work far longer than I have, actually. What, off the top of your head, what would you consider your favorite David McCluskey title?
You know, I gotta say Cravings.
Oh, that was my very first book that
mine
I
as
read
well.
from him.
Yeah. So I started with that, and then I was like just picking up everything else, and yeah, it was everything I had hoped for and more.
So the cover of Cravings, you guys, is this like delightfully beautiful looking chocolate croissant. Is it? It's like this like chocolate flaky pastry thing. So when you pick up this book, just based on the synopsis, you go into it and like you don't really know what's coming.
No.
But there's a lot of poop stuff.
Putting it mildly.
And it got right off the bat. It hits you in the face, and then he just keeps it rolling the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very similar to my favorite McCluskey book, which was actually one of his more recent ones from the end. Well, this was he released this like October of 2021, I think it was during 31 Days of Godless.
Yes.
But it's quickly become, I think, one of his best known, and that is Zola. Zola has a big wedge of cheese on the front cover, and it is the most disgusting and vile thing I have ever read in my life. It was the first time out of all of these subversive, transgressive, gross out books that I have read where I actually like had to close the book and like set it aside and try to like fight back the urge to not feel good. Because there's stuff that happens in this book where I am like, yo, you just all nurses will tell you that they have one thing that they just can't handle. And I always thought I was like pretty good and even keeled with most stuff. Clucky found my weakness. Clucky definitely found my weakness, and it's anything that collects and can be removed from within the crotchal region.
Yeah.
So if that's appealing to any of you freaks who are listening to this podcast right now, you should most definitely go pick up some.
Definitely.
There's also lots of dead body eating and cheese.
I mean, cheese is life.
Oh my God, it is. I love cheese so much. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what drew me to the book. I didn't care about the title. I didn't care about the synopsis. All I saw was a giant wedge of cheese. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Count me in, man. I'm coming.
Give me some cheese,
Give
man.
it to me. Give it to me. Go ahead. Slap it on a chunk of dead body meat. I'll take it.
Right? I mean, cheese makes everything better.
Absolutely. You melt that shit. We can do it like, what's that style where they melt it down and they like
Fondue.
Yeah. Ooh, dead body
Fondue.
fondue. All of a sudden doesn't sound so bad when you're putting cheese all over it.
And then dead body chocolate fondue for dessert.
I do like chocolate too.
Yeah.
I feel like we've really crossed some lines here.
Yeah, I agree.
Just for legal purposes, I am going to just make a blanket statement that Donna and I do not actually eat people.
No, we do not. Wink, wink.
Yet.
Yeah.
we haven't made it to AuthorCon yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other story.
So in about, oh my God, like less than 4 weeks, Donna and I are going to Scares That Cares AuthorCon in Williamsburg, Virginia for the entire weekend. We are so excited. We know tons of people are going to be there. I believe that will be happening prior to this episode airing through Mothers of Mayhem, but just know that on the day that we are recording this, Donna and I are like frantically emotionally preparing ourselves for probably the best weekend of our lives thus far.
Yeah. I had to go and buy a new bathing suit.
I did too. Don't judge us. There's a heated pool, and if we're hanging out all weekend, Donna and I are going swimming, so fuck you.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, we are.
Donna, what are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? I am reading Ensnared by Sharon Clavin.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Sharon Clavin is an author from Johannesburg, South Africa. I actually heard about her books through Carver Pike's First Chapter Freak Show. Her book, he read from her book Buried, which was really good. And the last time we were together recording, it was getting ready to be February, so I was devoting my February to women in horror. So I'm kind of winding that down. And I wanted to make sure I read one of her books because she's a super awesome woman. And she's like a machine. She's like just pushing out these books. So I wanted to make sure I got.
I'm in awe of authors who can do this.
Yeah.
Actually, David, I think, is like one of these authors. Like they're dropping like 15, 16 titles a year at least. Like our dear Ash Eric Moore. He's dropping like 7 a month. What the hell?
Yeah, he's crazy.
What is the general idea of the story? This is Ensnared, right?
Ensnared. So it's a young woman who goes with her parents. The parents buy a farmhouse in like the middle of nowhere. And then of course, spooky things start happening. It's not extreme. It actually
like
could
paranormal?
almost, yes, it's a paranormal. It's really nice. And she basically, there's a person stuck in a book, trapped in a book. So it's actually, it could be a little bit young adults.
It almost sounds like YA.
Yeah.
I think my Catherine might like that actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's really good. And there's a second one to it as well, but I haven't read that because I'm still reading the first. So there's 2 books in the series.
Gosh dang it, Donna. Now I gotta add more books to my freaking TBR.
I know. But yeah, I'm
um,
about halfway through with it, and it's really good.
y'all, Donna mentioned Carver Pike's first chapter of Freak Show, which you can find on YouTube. And basically, it's a series where Carver chooses a book and he reads the first chapter, right?
Mhm.
And then he kind of breaks it down a little bit, talks about it. Carver is such a sweetheart. And now that this event has come and gone, Carver, many congratulations to you and your beautiful jewels on your
Yes,
nuptials that
congratulations.
just happened this week. We love you guys so
I
much.
can't wait to meet Jules, because she's an author as well, and I'll be bringing one of her books because I want her to sign one of her books for me. So
You have no idea. I'm desperately trying to stash away money because I'm gonna spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on books in Williamsburg. Like I need more.
well, the good thing is, I pretty much own all of Daniel Volpe and Aaron Beauregard's books, and so I won't have to. And Carver Pike's. I think I only have like 3 left of his until I have them all. And Roland's, I have all of his. Christopher Ruffty will be there, and I have pretty much every single one of his books. So I don't have to worry. The only one I want from him is Devoured in the Dead, his splatter western.
Oh,
So.
I'm about to go wild on CV Hunt. That's who I've got my sights set on. Like, give me all your stuff. And I know Candace Nola is bringing me a hardcover copy of Baker's Dozen, which was my absolute.
It's beautiful.
Oh, and it was my absolute favorite collection from last year. So I'm so excited. And I just can't wait to give Roland Percy Jr. a hug. That's like the one thing I'm the most excited about. Please don't think I'm a weirdo, Roland, but it's true.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
And I'm trying to make sure that Carver and I celebrate our birthday because we share the same birthday.
What day is your birthday?
April 15th.
Oh my God. Oh, it's a party.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have such a good time.
He's my birthday twin, so
that is so great.
We got to celebrate a little bit.
Donna, I don't know if you saw, I had done a TikTok recently about an arc that I received from an author named Paula Ashe, who I was not familiar with before. And she just reached out to me through Instagram and she was like, hey, would you be interested in reading an advanced copy of my individual collection? We Are Here to Hurt Each Other. And I was like, oh, well, yeah. And I mean, you and I both know we are buried in advanced reading copies, both digital and physical. So we always say, I can't say no. Like it's FOMO for me. I have total that fear of missing out. I'm like, yes, no, please send me that. And then I feel bad because I can't read them all right away. So they tend to sit. But there was something about this one, and I was like, I want to read it. I want to read it. So I did. Donna, it's out now. It's out. It's on Amazon. You need to get it today. We Are Here to Hurt Each Other. Paula Ashe, Ashe. It is one of the most beautifully written, eloquent, elegant, stunning, disturbing, gut-wrenching books I have ever read. And I am guaranteeing you right now, that book is going to be on my top 10 of 2022. I have put it there already. It is not going to budge.
Yeah, that cover is pretty amazing.
Oh my God. This whole thing. So each story, they all have a very dreamlike feel to them. You're in reality, but something about this reality just doesn't feel right. And there's kind of a supernatural thread, just this horrible feeling of unease and dread that like connects all of them in this. It's hard to explain. Once you get in there and you start experiencing it, it'll make more sense. but it is by far one of the best things that I have read this year. I'm all ready for my top 10 of 22. We are here to hurt each other by Paula Ashe, and We Can Never Leave This Place by Eric LaRocca. And their styles are both so similar. Like she's chasing him. She's on his tail, girl, because she is amazing. I
still have to read some LaRocca.
I
know.
Oh, Donna. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I have one of his on my shelf. What's the one with the blue cover?
Things Have Gotten Worse Since We
That
Last
one.
Spoke.
Yes.
That one's great. Great book. Very polarizing. People either love it or hate it. But The Strange Things We Become, which is his individual collection of short stories, just jaw-dropping. Fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. It's remarkable. It reminds me of Your House is on Fire and Your Children Are All Gone. If you've read that one.
I have not.
Which is like a German collection of short stories. Oh, both amazing. And he's going to be a star. LaRocca is a star. He's already like climbing his way up there. Just amazing. Oh, so yeah, Paula Ashe, we are here to hurt each other. Go get it, people. And Ensnared. What is the authoress's name again? Because I'm having a hard time finding it.
It's Sharn Clavin, but it's spelled
Sharn.
Sian Clavin.
Ah, okay. Claven or In?
En.
There she is. There she is. Oh, you guys, this is $0 on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're a Kindle Unlimited customer, you can just hop straight to that and pick it up today. I just added that bad boy to my digital TBR pile.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Well, Donna, shall we get the charming Clucky in here for some torment and agony?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Woo-woo! All right, lovely. We will be back in a hot sec, kiddos. Hold on.
I haven't got my dog with me today, otherwise I'd have introduced you to Ted.
Oh, his name is Ted.
His name's
What kind
Ted.
of a dog is Ted? Oh, he's a wiener dog, isn't
Sausage
he?
dog. Yeah. He's my little sausage dog.
I grew up with sausage dogs.
Did you? They're little buggers, aren't they?
I was going to say they're assholes.
Oh,
and they love to dig and they love to eat each other's poop.
And they love to piss everywhere.
They do. They do. And we had two that were constantly humping each other, even though they were fixed. This just drive us. And they always did it under the dining room table while we were trying to eat dinner.
I'm coming back as a sausage dog.
An ornery asshole,
everywhere.
humpy sausage dog that eats everybody else's poop.
With bad hair. That's me all over.
Why do dogs like poop so much? I mean, I just don't understand. No matter what you do.
I think it's because Ted, as a sausage dog, wants to live up to being and leaves me little sausages all over the place.
Oh, yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's like a little sausage. You get down in the morning, it's like, oh, there's a sausage in my slippers.
Well, children, just so you're aware, this person right here that we've been talking about humpy dogs and dog shit in the last 3 minutes, this is David McCluskey. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I've been dead excited about this for ages and ages and ages.
Oh, I was so happy it's finally happening.
I couldn't sleep last night.
And you got stuck with me as a stand-in. I'm so sorry.
And you know, I'm not going to say nothing, but I prefer you.
You know, I already told you.
I never said that. I'm
Christina's
joking.
gonna listen to this, and the first thing out of her mouth is gonna be like, "Well, fuck! Now I don't have a job anymore."
she's gonna be like that. Well, I'm giving him a bad review.
1 star. 1 star for everything ever
Fucking
write
star.
it.
Go on,
You hack.
fucking asshole.
He's just a fucking sausage dog.
Yeah, sausage dog, that
I might
dirty
leave him a
trash
sausage in his slipper.
Well,
A Christina sausage.
Christina, see here, love, you are here in spirit. We are going
Mwah.
to celebrate
We love you,
through this
Christina.
whole thing. Hey,
Hey.
while we're doing the intros, tell the people a little bit about yourself. We told them a tiny bit, but give them some more info.
Oh, what did you tell them? Tell me what you told them.
Well,
And I can make up a load of fucking lies.
we told them that you're a highly prolific author. You've been writing since about 2011, and that you can do everything from subversive, transgressive, gross out horror to children's books, such as A Seagull's Tale, which this girl over here owes you a review on.
Get the review done.
Catherine Rose.
Catherine.
I know.
I should be a school teacher. Get that review done.
Yeah. Without the ruler.
I was going to say, where's your ruler?
And you're gonna
Yeah.
say nice things.
I'm gonna throw a chalk duster. Get the review done.
And then we told them about your comic book series, Interesting Times. We talked about your graphic novels. And right before we flipped to you, we were talking about your Christmas Carol graphic.
Okay.
Do you have
know what?
anything
Today-
else to add?
Today's February 26th, right? And I just sold 3 copies of Christmas Carol today. It's like, who buys Christmas Carol in February? Mad.
You know what? Those are our kind of people.
I took full advantage of them. I told them that it's so good you could read it all year round.
It is.
No,
It is.
not.
It's actually, it's beautiful.
It's different.
Beautiful. It's
different.
fantastic. Well, I mean, A Christmas Carol has been done so many times. If you're going to revisit it again, you got to do it different.
Yeah, you got to do it in rhyme.
The only versions of Christmas Carol that matter to me are yours and the Muppets.
Oh, the Muppets. No, but do you know what? The Alistair Sim one from 1946. Oh,
I mean, okay, yeah, you want to make me look bad by not like being like, ooh, the classics.
no, but
Yeah,
it's not.
no.
Everybody always says the
you
original, but that's not the
Bougie
original.
Brewster.
Do you know what one's my
Scrooge.
favorite? Scrooge is boss. But you know what one's my favorite is the Disney one with Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
yeah.
It's only on for like 25 minutes, and you think, make it longer.
Just watch it in slow mo,
Right?
and they're all like, whoa, whoa.
And God bless us, everyone.
I'm the ghost.
This is honestly the best episode we've done so far. We're only like 25 minutes into it.
How long have we got? I can do this all day.
Oh yeah, so can we. That's the problem.
Mhm.
Well, let's really
So-
kick it off.
Something about me that you said that you wanted.
Oh yeah. Tell us
Yeah.
something. Tell us
I can write all these books that you're saying, but can I put a shelf up? No. I can't put a shelf up. I can't put furniture together. I'm terrible at painting and decorating. And give me a hammer, and I have got apart from burying it in someone's head, I can't do anything else with it.
Damn it, Clucky, you just made me spit juice.
Have I
all
made you
over
wet?
myself.
I made you wet online.
Well, so now you're writing those kind of books now?
For anybody who's
one of them.
For anybody who's not watching this on YouTube, I am sorry about your life right now because you're fucking missing out.
I'm worried about your kids.
The little girl left, and now it's just a cat sitting like a human person. What is happening here?
The little girl's like, I am out of here. I'm not doing a review. I am going.
She's like,
Yeah.
no, this is too much today. Y'all are nerds.
That's
The
okay.
9-year-old
We're nerds.
The 9-year-old thinks we're
I have made a living out of being a nerd.
Well, David,
Hasn't done me any
Donna,
harm. Hasn't done me any harm. Yes.
Donna and I are now going to take turns tormenting you with the most horrific and embarrassing questions that we were capable of coming up with. Are you ready?
I am ready. Yeah. See, originally, I've just got to say this, but originally, you can see me from the top up. From the bottom down, all I've got is my boxer shorts on because I thought it was OnlyFans. But don't worry about it. We can edit that bit out, can't we?
Oh, I could.
No.
But
No,
I
yeah.
won't.
No.
I will
No,
not.
No.
That's my running. I tell everybody that, I can take care of it in post, but I won't.
I'm actually kind of disappointed, David, that you're not wearing that spiffy suit that I see you posting on Facebook all the time. I think you were at a wedding or
know.
something.
Yes, the navy blue suit with the beautiful floral
Yes.
tie.
With the tie. Yeah, that's it. That doesn't fit me anymore. Because of lockdown.
I was gonna say,
Okay, yeah, that
those
makes
were
sense.
better days.
No,
Clucky.
I still have got that suit. Yeah,
Well,
it's just that. Yeah,
look
I had to
absolutely
undo the inside bits there so I can burst out of it these days.
I mean, we'll wait while you change.
Yeah, we'll be here. All I have to do is pause the recording. It's really not
The
that hard.
trousers are Velcro, so they just rip off like that.
Sweet.
Wait till you see what Kevin Sweeney wore for his interview. You're gonna be embarrassed.
Well, I saw what was the guy who's got
Oh,
Ash.
Yeah, Ash. And I thought I was gonna wear a mask. I just thought no, because my ears stick out far too much anyway.
Oh,
So you're like,
shut
that's
your
McCluskey with his ears.
You should have just found a way to accentuate them. Made giant cardboard ears and put them on a headband. Next time.
I could have put a picture of Prince Charles, and then the ears would have just
Oh
fitted anyway.
man. Oh, you're definitely coming back for another one. I'm telling you that right now.
I think you guys need to have the David and Ash, and you need to get Maddie Bob on here and Nat, just so we can listen to these beautiful accents.
My God.
I think it'd be boss as well because you've got loads of people coming at you in different angles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she
I've
just
seen that
basically just you just rattled off a quarter of the people we have on our list for season 2. So we're purposefully only targeting people with really nice accents because it's selfish for our own purposes.
Oh well.
Now you gotta get
everybody in England dates the Liverpool accent. When we talk, it's like a load of spit coming.
I talk like a total hick because I came from the Mason-Dixon line area of central Pennsylvania. Yeah. So I've got that little southern twang where people are like, I don't know quite where you're from, but I don't think it's from up north. Even though it is.
No matter where you are from in America, it sounds boss and it sounds romantic, right? Because if you're from the Mason-Dixon line and you're from Tulsa and stuff, and there are all these boss names of songs, right? I come from a place called Bootle.
Whoa, wow.
Imagine getting that into a song, Bootle.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. It's not even exactly. It's not even like Boot Hill. Boot Hill sounds like, Bootle is Bootle.
Bootle. I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Brutal.
Okay, so I was born in a town called Shamokin.
Hey, there you go. Now, that could be.
You know how many Jim Carrey jokes I've heard through my entire life because of the mask? And people were like, Shamokin. And I'm just like, you are not funny.
That could be the horriblest place in the world. I mean, I don't know, but it could be but it sounds boss.
It kind of is becoming one of the most horrible places in the world, but oh wow, it does sound boss.
It sounds boss. Yeah.
Well, Donna, do you want to hit David with a question? You can go ahead and hit him with the first one.
Oh, I would love to. So, David.
Ease me in, Donna.
Okay. What's your favorite flower? No.
Oh,
What's your favorite flower?
what's your favorite flower? Self-raising.
So my first question to you is, which book was the most fun for you to write? Was it butterflies? Was it your children's books? Was it Zola or Cravings or
Okay.
12?
Butterflies, right? Butterflies, for anyone who hasn't read Butterflies, I completely cross-genred, and it's a romantic drama with like some sort of like a extended sex scenes in, which I wasn't 100% comfortable writing. Exactly. So the reason why I wasn't comfortable writing the sex scenes is because when you're writing a sex scene, and at the end of it, when you stand up to have a stretch, I took the table with me. So it was like, it's quite embarrassing. But my favorite book that I wrote was Time Ripper. Time Ripper is a science fiction thriller, time travel. And the reason why it was the most enjoyable to write is because I live in Liverpool and went down to London, which is about 250 miles away. And we did the Jack the Ripper tours, because the book's based around Jack the Ripper. So we did all the tours. I must have done them about 15 times. So Lauren, who's my other half, my better half, some people might say, I was like, come, let's see the Jack the Ripper tour. She was like, again? I know the fucking Jack the Ripper tour. And so it got to the point where the fella who was giving a Jack the Ripper tour looked at me and went, oh, for fuck's sake, why don't you just do this tour? He's like, don't ask me questions like, how tall was Jack the Ripper? I'm like, I don't fucking know. But,
How tall was Jack the Ripper?
5'7".
Really?
I'll make that up.
I believe it. For me now, that is the absolute truth. Jack the Ripper was 100% 5'7".
So I believed it for like 2 seconds, but then I'm like, how do they know? Because he was never caught.
But that was
because David knows.
That
was called a McCluskeyism. So a McCluskeyism. I have this ability with my family and the people I know to tell them facts that I've just completely made up and actually get them to think that it's real. So I told one of my mates that Jeep, the car mate, I told him that it was an anagram for just enough essential parts. And I said that was because during the war they made them because they had like few little they only had like few little bits here and there. And he was like, all right, he said, I understand where they're coming from with that. So flash forward years later, my mate is working for Jeep. And he's at a party. He's at a party with the HR director of the whole of the UK and Ireland. And, and like, he's just like talking and he goes, oh yeah, he said, I know what Jeep stands for. And the fella's going, oh, you do? He's American, but he's the head. And he's like, you do? And he's like, yeah, just enough essential parts. And
you totally cost that man his job.
The fella just went, no. And then he was like, that's a fucking McCluskeyism, isn't it?
So children, what we've learned from this is never believe anything David McCluskey says.
No.
100%. 100%. You got a pink lizard.
He's a liar and a con man.
It's an axolotl. Yeah. It's an axolotl, not a lizard.
It is. It's an axolotl.
It's a what?
They're actually an amphibian.
Oh, right, the little cute.
Yes, my daughter loves them. So we have lots.
That's going to be our greeting now.
That was a really good impression because I am actually the same color as that. So it's like.
Okay, for my podcast listening people, like I really don't want to like discourage you from listening on your podcast streaming platforms, but really if you're not watching this one on YouTube, you are seriously missing out this week. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is turning into a very visual episode. Well,
I can't go any further than that. Yeah.
I'm going to kind of bounce off of where Donna took this
Okay.
from her first question. Like
Yes.
your range as an author is pretty astounding to me. Like not only do you write some of the best gross out horror that I have read, Cravings was the first book of yours I ever read.
Yeah.
And after that, I was just kind of hooked. But you also write like sci-fi, psychological thrillers, the comics, the graphic novels. You do like mid-range romantic fiction and just the loveliest children's books. What is there a particular genre that you really enjoy writing the most? And what do you think it is about that that really sets that fire in your heart?
Okay, I absolutely love writing mainstream horror. It's my favorite genre and always has been. Ever since I read the first James Herbert book, which was The Fog that I ever read, I just fell in love with proper like mainstream horror, just like spooky horror that's like, you know, that puts a chill up you. Don't want to sleep with the lights off. That type of horror, that's my favorite genre. Now, in order to do that, it's got to be a novel. It's got to be a full-length novel. It's got to be like 75,000 words minimum. That's what I would normally say. So they become a difficult read. Donna's flashing us here. Pussy. Again.
There is a
help
cat.
myself.
There is another cat on the screen. That's why we are
Put
now
your
all
cat
screaming,
away, woman.
Pussy! Pussy!
What is wrong with you people? I can't be hearing such language.
Donna, you made the choice to
love
come
the
here.
pussy.
This is your own damn fault.
You invited me.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so it's mainstream horror, 100% of the way. I love being scared. I mean, I love being grossed out. Don't get me wrong, I love being grossed out. And I love a good thriller where, you know, your heart's pacing when you're reading it. It's like, but I love to be scared the most. And it's weird as well because until I was about 12, I had to sleep with the light on. I was a proper scared little kid.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. My mum and
Afraid
dad.
of everything.
Absolutely everything. And I'll tell you why in a second. But my mum and dad used to be pissed at me because I'd be like 14 and I'd be knocking on the door at like 4 o'clock in the morning and go, Mom, I want to tell you the joke. She's like,
It's a bird.
the reason why I'm so scared of everything, or I was so scared of everything, is because I've got 2 older sisters. Now we lived in a 3-bedroom house. So I had the middle room, which was like a small box room, and they had the room and they shared the room between them. And what they used to do is they bought me a load of stickers of the Muppets and they glue in the dark, right? Oh. This is back in the day. So I'm amazed that I'm actually still alive. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you were probably like, so I had Zoot. I had a big picture of Zoot that glue in the dark. And I was scared. Through the day, loved it. For the nighttime, scared shitless. And my 2 sisters used to talk through the door and they'd be like, David. And I was like, what? I thought it was fucking Zoot. So, this is Tinkerbell. Have you been a good boy? And I'm like, yeah, I've been a good boy. Leave me alone. This is when I was fucking 14. So, no wonder my fucking head's a...
I want to get through the most. Like, I had my own Muppets that I was afraid of. Particularly, I think the one everybody was afraid of, fucking Uncle Deadly. Uncle Deadly was terrifying. Yeah. But what I'm loving about this the most is that of all the Muppets that scared you, it was
Zoot.
The saxophone player.
The most chilled out Muppet that ever was. I fucking glue in the dark, and his eyes glue, and his big purple nose glue, and all around him glue. And I was like, oh, now why are they doing this to me?
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
Oh,
thank
you
for
go.
this.
How did you get onto that?
So if it's mainstream horror that you like to write
right, yeah.
best, Now, I'm just making this question up right now because now I'm just curious. What's your favorite mainstream horror book that you've ever read?
That will be either The Rats by James Herbert or Pet Sematary by Stephen King.
So you like animal horror?
It just so happens that they're the two that have got animals in it. I mean, I'm not necessarily, you know, as long as there's only a fucking sausage dog that scares me these days.
As it should.
Well, I gotta tell you, if you want to be afraid of a sausage dog, you need to read Fur by Matthew Cash because it has a werewolf sausage dog in it.
Werewolf sausage dog?
Yes.
No way.
I had no idea that the werewolf in that was a dachshund.
Yeah.
Oh my
One
God.
of them.
Oh my God, I'm so on that. I'm on that.
I've got to get that then.
Oh my God, David.
I can imagine it.
David, tell me when you're gonna read it. We'll buddy read it together and we can message back and forth about the were dachshund.
Where the were sausage?
Yes, the were
sausage.
I might have to send a copy to my mother.
I can just imagine its little legs like that.
It's brilliant.
Oh my God! Now I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm working on a comic at the moment, which was it's the guy who owns it, the guy who wrote it. It was big in the late 80s, early 90s, and it actually got a bit of a following, and he took it over to America, and it started to pick up in America, but he got knocked back a few times by Disney and by Warner Brothers and stuff like that. But he's trying to revise it now. It's called the Werebears, and it got so big that they actually had plush toys made and stuff like that. So basically, these are teddy bears that, when the full moon hits them, they turn into werewolf teddy bears. So we're revising it now. So it's a guy called George Nicholas, and we're actually working on it now and hopefully going to get it out by Halloween.
That's exciting.
I need that. I need that in my life.
I need an actual stuffed animal. Like, I need the stuffed animal. So y'all better make this good so that the merchandising can be big.
Google it. Google the Werebears. W-E-R-E bears.
Werebears.
Yeah, Werebears. And it was big. It was huge. It was on the verge. It got so big that it only got knocked off. He was in the running with one of the studios, and they either took the Werebears or they took the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they took the Turtles and the kind of Werebears, and then he sort of let it go then because he thought, oh, knackered and it can't be bothered doing it. And he's all been knocked back, but that was how close it was.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we're revising it, we're rebringing it back out again, we're rebooting it.
Oh my God, I hope that flies for you guys because that's
going to be amazing.
I'm quite excited about it, but we're bringing it out in rhyme in the first instance, and then we're going to bring out a novel, and then there's already the comics from the early 90s, late 80s, so we're going to be bringing out all them as well. So hopefully it should be like we can do something with it, you know.
Oh, I hope so, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
sounds right up my kid's alley. Oh my
God. So I might see if you can put a dash on one in it just for the little pause. Yeah.
God, they're assholes. Fucking love
they
them.
are. Yes.
Donna,
we named him Ted after me dad.
Was your dad? Okay, I gotta ask. Was your dad an asshole?
he was an asshole with little legs.
Please tell me that he did not eat poop.
No, but he used to shit in me slippers.
Pause recording. Oh my God, Donna, please ask another question. I'm not ready to unpack that kind of trauma yet today.
So kind of speaking along the lines of trauma. So I believe you have a daughter.
Oh, correct? Yes, that's correct.
Just one child, just one daughter, or?
I've got one biological daughter, and I've got a stepdaughter.
Okay, so you have two daughters. All right.
2 daughters, yeah.
So my question is, would you ever want them to read Zola and cravings? Or would you be like, they would disown me as their father if they ever read that?
Well,
And I'm assuming, obviously, if they're of age, like, I don't know how old they are.
I was
Right,
gonna say, are
one-
your girls teenagers or?
one's 21, the stepdaughter's 21, 20. Actually, her birthday is on the same day as mine.
Oh.
No, she's stolen my birthday.
Damn
The
it.
14th of July was my fucking day.
Oh,
And then she'd come along and gone, oh, look,
hell.
I'm 21 this year. And I'm like, I'm 49. It's my fucking, I've been looking forward for 49 for years.
Oh my gosh, you're older than me? Finally, somebody is older than me.
Well, I will never
Stop
forget
it.
your birthday because my husband's birthday is July 13th.
Day before, there you go.
Yes.
We're all
Well,
that's-
actually, I'll forget it's your birthday, but I'll totally remember it's your oldest daughter's birthday.
oh yeah.
I'll remember it's your birthday.
Hey baby,
Donna's
it's my
sucking
birthday.
up.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, I would let them read it.
How
Not
old is
in
the
this-
youngest one again?
She's 14.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
so-
know if, I don't know.
It's our censorship. I'm not
later.
into censorship. If you want to read it, listen, some of the shit I was reading when I was 14. When I stopped being scared of the dark, obviously.
When Zoot was no longer an issue.
When I peeled
When-
Zoot off. Yeah.
when Zoot was no longer your sleep paralysis demon, is that that's when I started reading?
I peeled Zoot off the cupboard, and it just left like a ghostly Zoot. That was even worse. I was like,
I have to keep covering my microphone so that I don't cause like distortions. Oh my god.
a ghostly Zoot. No, so well, yeah. I mean, if they wanted to read them, then they could, right? But Lauren, who's my partner, she's my missus. She is my final proofreader for my books, but she said, no, I'm not fucking reading them too. No chance whatsoever.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, I can't blame her for avoiding Zola a little bit because that is legit the most disgusting book I have ever read. When I reviewed it, I remember saying like, this is the first time I've had to close a book, set it aside, and then I legit like cried for
Yeah.
about 20 minutes. And you know, even with like Sean Hawker and Simon McCarty just putting out Munging, the whole concept of that is just horrific and horrifying and absolutely disgusting. I still will place Zola above it. I will 100% rank Zola above it. I don't know if anything will ever dethrone it from that spot
don't know.
because, like, oh my God. So, in regards to Zola, my question
Mhm.
is, David,
Where did it come from?
what the fuck?
What the WTF?
What
Yeah.
the fuck, David?
Well, Zola came from an idea I had ages and ages and ages ago, where it was going to be based on a fat, lonely kid whose mum dies just before Christmas, and all they've got in to eat before she dies is cheese. So he eats and eats and eats the cheese, and he starts to turn into cheese. So he starts to eat himself. And that, yeah. So the ending of the story was going to be him ripping out the last piece and just putting it in his mouth. And because it was the last piece that was making him live, he died. So he just died as a big moldy load of cheese. And so, but somehow it evolved into this kind of like revenge story, and then like
evolved is putting it mildly.
Or devolved, yeah.
Devolved.
I was saying it is much broader than that now.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it where it was gross and it was splatterpunk and it was like everything that was vile, but I wanted it to be a real story that went through it. You know what I mean? I didn't just because like the cheese one was just going to be just vileness. It was just going to be gore, which is boss. Don't get me wrong, it's just going to be funny. But then when I started writing it, I thought, this needs a little more of a story to go through it. So that's where the dad start of it evolved in from, and then the mum story evolved as well. So it was like just fucked up.
Well, at the same time, it's brilliant because you have this soft spot in your heart for this character because this poor kid, he was brutally traumatized very early on, and then he's been isolated from the world his entire life and basically indoctrinated into this way of living that nobody else on the planet is part of, and he has no idea how to survive. He has no idea how to live, and he just does his own thing. Unfortunately, like, his own thing just happens to be like the most disgusting thing I have ever read in my life.
He just likes Gordon cakes. He doesn't. We've all done it.
I already mentioned this, but as a registered nurse, like, we all identify that we have like this one particular part of human functioning that we can't handle. And I thought I was actually even healed and could handle most. You found it. And just to repeat it, it is apparently anything that can get all caked up and collected and then dislodged from the crotchal region, especially if it goes into somebody's mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
I always made me think of the Mighty Boosh. Rich vulture. Cheese is a type of meat. A tasty processed treat. I milk it from my teat.
I vision the I don't know, David, you probably haven't seen this, but Marian, you probably have, back in the day, that cheese commercial. A hanker for a hunk of cheese.
For a hunk of cheese.
Well, we used to have some cheese in England called Dairy Lee, and it came in little triangles. And it was like a load of kids singing, "We love our cheese as triangles," and that's where I got it from. That's where I got. He's like,
oh my god,
scratching, and there's his cheese. And I was going to make him do it into a little triangle, but I thought the American audience probably won't get that. But there you go.
We have little cheese triangles, but they're called laughing cow.
Laughing cow.
No, yeah. Well, we've started getting them over here now as well, but it started off with Dairy Lee. We are the kids who love our cheese, and we are the cheese. Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to say nothing will ever make me not like cheese. So
I love cheese.
That must say something bad about me. Like that I could read Zola and still want cheese.
Yeah. Donna and I love cheese so much that before we brought you in here, we legit were talking about eating chunks of dead bodies with cheese on them. We were like,
fondue.
Yeah.
Fondue.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right? Like, there's cheese involved, we're in.
So along the same lines of, you know, not wanting to traumatize your children with letting them read Zola and Cravings, do you think that, because I know Butterflies is out under D.E. McCluskey, and I know that your children's book is under David McCluskey, right?
Dave
McCluskey.
Yeah.
So do you think there'll ever be any like negative impact on Butterflies being under D.E. McCluskey, and then someone who reads Butterflies for their first you know, introduction to your writing, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, that was really great, I'm going to go and get this. Ooh, I like cheese. So let me get this book called Zola.
Zola, that's a pretty lady's name. Let me read that book.
It must be about Zola, the cheese seller at the market.
Lady.
The cheese lady.
What I say to that is, you're big enough and ugly enough to look after yourself. If you want to read Zola, you go read Zola.
It is pretty clear after the first chapter what you've gotten yourself into.
Yeah. I was selling books today, actually, and I was in like in Liverpool. There's like a big, massive central library, and it's a big, gorgeous building. It's on Batman and everything. I know the new Batman film is coming out. They filmed a lot of it around that way, and we were selling books, and like I had all the people who were coming over and going, "Ooh." They were looking at Cravens and going, "Oh, look at that! It's a nice chocolate pastry." And I was going,
"I say that, Donna."
Put that one down. Put that one down. And they were like, "But it's cheese." And I was like, "Put that one down."
I never should have brought these here.
There was a woman and she bought a copy of the Grinkle-Nonk. She looked at the Grinkle-Nonk and she read the back of the Grinkle-Nonk. And a little daughter was with her, and the daughter was 7. She went, "Oh, I'll buy you this." And I was like, "No, don't buy that."
No.
Yeah.
Please
It's
don't.
all right up until the second to last page, and then no, the kids aren't going to like that one. Yeah.
Oh my God. That one I legit have loaded in my Kindle right now, and I can't wait to get to it. So I should not involve my children in this one.
No. The Grinkle-Nonk's different. The Grinkle-Nonk's not extreme or nothing like that, but it's a horror novel disguising itself as a children's book.
My favorite.
So it's like you're reading it going, "That's a nice little story, this," and it's like, "Fuck it out."
Oh, I gotta kill me.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so I'm going to be a total buzzkill.
Oh.
As usual.
You got me.
Got me.
I want to talk about crack.
Okay. Once you've had McCluskey's crack, there's no going back. There's no going back.
This book, I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to do a TikTok review on it. I read so much and there's a lot that I just don't ever get around to actually doing videos for. But this book, it is called Crack, my friends. It is an incredibly powerful look at the horrific impact that the disease of addiction has on the person who struggles with that substance abuse and the other people in that person's life. And it really does truly feel like a lived experience, even though you take it and you put it in that horror universe,
Horrific.
that world, that horrible world that we all know horror really exists in. So because it feels like it comes from a place of knowledge, what was the impetus for you writing this book? Like, where did this come from? What was the inspiration? Like, do you have someone in your life that you watched go through this, or like, were you addicted to crack? I'm sorry, just to put it out there like that. Like,
the crack I was addicted
to. Meth?
There's certain websites that you can go on to. No, anyway, that's
because that's somebody who did way too many drugs. I'm like, wow, this guy knows shit.
No, you know what? The story of crack, right? I think it's 90,000 word novel. I'm driving home from work, right? I was working away, where I was working was about a 4-hour drive away from home. So I was driving home, and I was driving in the middle lane of the freeway. You guys call it a highway. It's a motorway over here. So I'm driving in the freeway in the middle lane, and I'm just about to overtake a lorry, right? A truck that's in the middle lane. I was just about to pull out. From absolutely out of nowhere came this motorbike, right? And it undertook me, and it cut right in front of me. So, and as it did that, I had to slam on. And as he went in front of me, his bike fishtailed, and his back wheel went like that. So I'm just driving. Everything went into slow motion. And I just thought, this guy's dead. I've killed this fella because his motorbike's going to go over, and I'm going to go over, and I'm going to kill him. But anyway, he fixed it. And then he went and zoomed off.
How was that again?
He zoomed off. He just put onto another gear and zoomed off. So I was left with the outside. That was him zooming off. So I was left. My hands are sweating on the steering wheel, and I'm like shaking like a shitting dog. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So I pulled. It took me about 10 minutes to get to the service station so I could pull over and sort of get my nerves back. In the 10 minutes that it took me from that happening to get to the service station, the whole idea for the book just went.
Essentially, it came as a trauma response.
Yeah.
Yes.
The start, the middle, and the end of the book just went. I'm went into place. That is the God's honest truth. So I've never experienced anybody with like a drug addiction, or I mean, I've known people who've had it, who've ultimately died of it in the end, but I've never had I've never been there with someone who's ever had that experience, but I did a lot of research on PTSD and drug addiction, and so I just brought that into that book. But it's a very Marmite book. It gets either fabulous reviews or people hate it. It doesn't tend to get like, oh, this book was all right. It either goes, whoa, loved it, or fucking hell, Dave, what the fuck, what's going on in your head? So yeah.
Do you need to see a therapist?
Those are my favorites. Quite honestly, those are my favorite kind of books. I can think of quite a few already where people either loved them or hated them. I'm almost always on the love side.
Yeah.
And I think you just need a certain personality type, or your brain needs to like be wired a certain way to really, really enjoy those things that are a little bit more confrontational. There's also that level of surrealism to it. Like my brain's very open to all of that. I'm like, yeah, the wilder, the weirder, the more just absolutely mind-bending, the better. Give it to me. I'll take it.
I'm just getting,
especially if it allows you to like get into those really hard places, because there's a lot of like allegory in there, you know, the horror really speaks to like, it's not an easy thing to live through for either the person going through it or the people who love them. So the horror just adds to that. It's a fantastic book. So if any of you who are listening have not read this book, it is just straight up called Crack. And it's available on Amazon, and I think it's on Godless too, right? Clucky?
No, Crack's not on Godless.
That one's not on there, but I know it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. But I get quite a lot of Kindle limited reads, so I can't put it onto Godless as such. But it's kind of the way where Crack come from was I love a story of a normal everyday Joe's descent into madness and like the horribleness. So it was like an extension of the graphic novel Doppelganger, which Doppelganger was the very, very first full-length story I ever wrote, and I made it into a graphic novel, 100-odd pages. It cost me a fortune. It cost me a couple of mortgage payments and a marriage. So it was, but it was worth it. But
wow, I had no idea it could be that costly.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I know she'll never watch this, so so Doppelganger is about a normal fella who buys a mirror and he hangs the mirror in his study, his home study, and then his life starts to spiral out of control. But he doesn't know whether it's him doing all these atrocities that are happening, or whether something else is doing the atrocities that are happening. And I loved that idea. So because it was my very first, it was a graphic novel, I thought, I'm going to take this to a different level. And that's where Crack came in.
Dude, I'm only pulling out my phone because now I have to add another goddamn book to my goddamn
right? That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Doppelganger's on Godless. That's on Godless. So, yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just another book I have to put in my fucking left. Clucky.
Fucking books.
God damn it.
Only people that stop fucking writing them.
Okay, here's a good question. Here's a great question that I just thought of. Okay, so you are in the comic book and the graphic novel business. Any chance you might ever get graphics for Cravings and Zola?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Hey, Matt Shaw did it with Sick Bastards.
Yeah,
a couple of people have done it.
Well, do you know who wrote that for Sick Bastards? The comic book version.
You did, didn't you?
Me. Yeah. I
had no idea until somebody else told me. But why are we not getting you could do a double whammy? Zola's the primary story, and then you get a little mini one in the back.
Well, we haven't finished Sick Bastards because the guy we had doing the artwork is from the Philippines. Dominic Ratcho, his name is, and his son's name is Helmet. In England, that's a fucking funny name, but there you go.
Oh, that's a
and I just hope he's not listening.
Yes.
Helmet. But the sad thing about it is that he lost his house in the hurricane. So he was like 7/8 of the way through Sick Bastards Part 2. So we're nearly there. We just haven't got it finished. But,
Oh, you'll get there.
yeah.
But in the meantime, Marian, even if it's only for Marian would appreciate a graphic novel of both Cravings and Zola. Do this for your little chicken, Clucky.
Me chicken.
Chicken.
I was gonna say something else too, and now I forgot it. Donna, you're gonna have to take this until I remember. I have something else in my brain. I can't remember what it was.
You have something else in your brain. How can you
I
have
do
something else in your brain?
I know.
Stuff just falls out my brain.
So easily lost. Okay, well, let my brain think. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go to the ad zone, bitches. Okay. And hopefully when we get back, I can actually think like
sponsored by beer.
But yeah, this whole episode, oh my god, this is the best.
Hey kids, looking for a way to affordably access the best and wildest independent extreme horror currently in existence? Godless Horrors is the place to be. Go to www.godless.com to gain access to thousands of extreme horror and splatterpunk books from the genre's best and brightest independent authors. Godless Horrors offers every title in their catalog in a variety of formats to ensure compatibility with your favorite digital reading device. Strapped for cash? No worries. Godless has a fantastic collection of free titles ready for instant download, with other titles in their collection rarely exceeding $3 to $4. Again, go to www.godless.com or download the app and tell them what the fuck you're looking for. Come join the Godless tribe today. Forever delightfully deviant. Forever godless.
Oh, keep going.
There's gonna be one scene in the special stuff that I haven't wrote into the book yet, but it's playing around in my head and it's knocking me ill. It's knocking me. I mean, even though I wrote Zola and stuff like that, this scene is just like the worst.
I absolutely cannot wait. While all y'all were on ad break, we just kept talking. And Clucky was telling about all the cool stuff that is coming in the remainder of the year, which I'm going to let you talk more about it here towards the end of the show. And then you were talking about another comic book that you're working on with somebody else as a collaboration. And then that made me think back to the comic book you were talking about before the break. And you talked about how the artist for that one was in the Philippines. And then that made me remember that I was going to tell you guys about a cult. There is a cult. And there's a sect of this cult that lives like 5 miles from where I live. And this cult is called the Evangelical End Time Machine. I am not shitting your dick.
Wow.
The Evangelical End Time Machine, they have a website. You need to look them up, but they have a huge following in the Philippines. I don't know why I felt it was very necessary to tell you about this, other than the fact that the artist that you were working with lived in the Philippines. And my brain was like, maybe he's in the cult.
He could be. And maybe his house hasn't been destroyed, but he's just been sucked into the cult.
I think it's the Evangelical End Time Machines. You have to look them up. They're amazing. One of their posts. One of their blog posts, you know how like all blogs have like tags at the bottom? One of their blog posts, the tag list, it was like Jesus, sinners, eternal life, love of the Lord, cannibalism.
What?
I was like, oh my God, yes, sign me up. I'm in.
Well, you know what, right? I was brought up a Catholic, right? Here in Liverpool. And then years ago, I thought about it, and it's like, cannibalism, they're like defeating you. This is the body of Christ. Do you want it? Like, yeah, okay, I'll have that. And do you want some blood? Yeah, I'll have some blood too.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, Catholics are cannibals. Hell yeah.
My father is an Episcopal priest, and my sister and I don't think we ever really questioned that stuff when we were growing up. But my children, Catherine and Clark, most recently just had their first communion. And when I introduced them to the concept of first communion, I explained that they were basically going to be eating the body of Christ and drinking his blood. Catherine literally stopped and looked at me and said, "What the hell, Mom?" Like and I had to stand back and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty fat shit, isn't it?
That's a legit question. Yeah.
So basically
did it anyway, like a good little Episcopalian, but
basically Jesus cakes,
Jesus
not Gordon cakes.
Oh my God, stop it.
Jesus crackers.
Hell, we are going to hell.
Jesus crackers.
We are getting cut off right now. The internet is going.
Yeah. God is like, yup, bars closed.
Said.
You're all out. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
We're all going to hell, and David's going to end up in hell with Zoot.
I'll be like, oh, hail me. Yeah.
That will be your hell.
Little did you know, but the devil actually looks like Zoot from the Muppet Show.
He was too laid back. He had something else going on.
He was on crack.
Yeah. Believe me.
Or heroin, one or the other.
Yeah, with the guy with the golden
Some kind
tooth.
of barb.
Doc.
Dr. Teeth.
Dr.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, I know my Muppets. Okay. All right. Oh shit. It is time for the rapid fire 4.
Okay.
Tell him, Donna.
It's 4 questions, 4 answers, 0 time to think ahead. You need to answer immediately.
And if you give the wrong answer, humanity ends.
And it's all your fault. So
I'm
think
good.
about
I'm good with that. I'm filling up with wrong answers already. Yeah.
It's true.
Who in slippers?
It's true.
Yeah.
So let's do the damn thing. Donna, hit him.
All right. Here we go. Which of your characters do you identify with most and why?
Joe O'Hara, crack, because he's a knobhead.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that quick of an answer.
Lauren just said she agrees.
I love that your answer immediately was like, I totally identify with this guy because he's a total fuckface.
Total knobhead. Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate.
Well, I don't know. You don't really know me. You wait until I start drinking more.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
This is me second, and Lauren's already thinking of cutting me off.
I think that might partly be our influence too. We have a tendency to like make people mildly hypomanic. So once we get out of the picture, you'll probably be fine.
I don't need it.
He's like, yeah, no, I don't need the extra influence. I got this, ladies.
I've been at a book sale all day today, and a girl who was next to me, we just chatting all day, and she just went, I have never known anyone to talk as much as you.
I personally love
I don't get out that often.
We have very similar vibes. I think we could be best friends forever, Clucky. I really do.
BFFs.
So,
Dr. Evil.
Oh, question number 2.
You do have like a remarkable genre range already, but is there a genre that you have not tried that you would like to write?
Well, my next book is fantasy. I've never done fantasy before, so I thought I'd give fantasy a go, and I've just done a 3-part saga, which is all going to be released this year.
So, and that's all fantasy?
That's all fantasy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what kind of fantasy?
Young adult fantasy.
Like YA fantasy? Like, is it high fantasy? Are we
It's like,
talking
well,
like elves and different?
No,
like
no, you're talking like
fantasy,
it's a different, it's got to be a different planet because it's different worlds, it's different like sort of kingdoms. But people, it's like swords and stuff like that, but it's magical orbs. But they're the only 2 bits of magic in that whole planet.
like a little bit like a Wrinkle in Time-ish, like Madeline L'Engle fantasy.
If you think,
but this is your own thing.
This is my own thing.
Yeah!
So think of Game of Thrones, right? So Game of Thrones isn't in Earth that we know it.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like that. It couldn't be Earth. It might be Earth. It might be a different Earth. But it's sort of like there's a little bit of magic in the world going on, but not a lot of people know about it, and not a lot of people want to know about it. And it's just sort of like fancy, but it's not like dragons and there's not like magical creatures. Although there is a huge bird, but that's about it. But there's these golden orbs or glowing orbs. One's red and one's blue.
So you said there's 3 volumes to this.
Yes.
So how long is each volume? Like, are we talking like lots of world building here?
Yeah, you're talking about 75,000 words per book.
Wowie zowie!
Wow,
How long did this take you?
Well, I'm 48. I started when I was 3. So about 47 years.
No!
I mean, maths is terrible. No, I've been writing this for about 6 to 8 years.
Wow.
On and off. But it's finally at a point where I'm happy with it to bring it out this year.
God, you must be so stoked.
Oh God, I'm just been made up that it's out there and don't have to fucking read it again.
That's exciting. He's like, I've put so much time and energy into writing these books, and I think they're amazing, but I hate them.
Oh, I never, honestly, but the 12, my debut novel, the 12, I must have read that probably around about 25 times before I was like brave enough to release it. And I absolutely hate it.
Oh,
I know it inside and out. And you're like, oh, I don't have to read it again. I have to read it again. We go through all these deaths again. It's like, yeah.
So I keep getting distracted because you keep saying interesting things. But like in regards to a book like The 12, if it's something that you've read so many times and something that you like no longer really love and vibe with, do you ever think about pulling it and just making it unavailable?
But when I say I don't love it and I don't, I mean, I absolutely love The 12 because 1, it's my debut novel, and 2, it's my best-selling novel. It outsells absolutely everything that I've ever done.
Oh wow!
Absolutely and utterly, I'm so proud of it because I love it. But what does me head in about The 12? I don't think you guys have actually read The 12, have you?
I have not had a chance yet. No.
What does me head in about it is all the reviews that it gets. Like the majority of the reviews are good reviews, and there's some really bad reviews, and them ones I love. I think they're great. I read them and they make me laugh. But what people always say is like, even though I figured it out halfway through, I still enjoyed the book. And I think, and that makes me laugh because halfway through the book, I basically tell everybody who the killer is. So it's like, I couldn't make it any more fucking obvious who the killer is. But it's not who it is, it's why he's killing, he does it. Yeah. So I'm like, these people who go, yeah, I figured it out halfway through. I'm like,
good.
I fucking told you.
You can string sentences together. Good, you go.
Right,
you
good. I'm glad you did, because if you didn't, you'd be an empty-headed ninny muggins.
Yeah, basically. If I'd have got like fucking font 47 words, 47, put them into like the killer is, it couldn't have been any more obvious. But there you go.
You know, well, we talked to Kevin Sweeney not long ago, and Christina had dug up that he has like tons and tons of books. He started writing around the same time you did, back towards 2011. He's pulled like 7 books that no one will ever see again.
Really?
Like she found one copy of one of them, and I think she had to buy it on eBay that somebody had up for a few bucks. And we were like, will you ever put them back out now that, you know, you're more prolific and people are into you, you have a solid fan base? He was like, absolutely not. And I was like, God
Really?
damn it. Why would you? What? No, give it. He was like, I'm not vibing with it anymore. I don't feel like it represents who I am as a writer.
It's not about you.
Right. That's exactly. I'm like, look, sweetie, it's not about you.
See,
It's about me.
I've got a couple of comics that I brought out. The very first things I ever released were called Interesting Times, and they're a series of short stories, horror, written in rhyme for kids. So I brought them out, and then I brought out a comic called Wooden Heart.
Yes.
And it was the first serious, like the other ones are funny, the other ones are fun stories. This was like for adults and it was kids. And like I read it back now and I think, oh, I should have done that, and I should have done that, and I should have done that. But it's me progression. So I like to have it there. So if anybody wants to buy it, they can go and buy it. They can go and read it.
I have it. I just have
You got it. Fantastic. If you give it a shit review or give it a great review, either way, it doesn't bother me because that was part of my progression. That's like going from there. And then I brought out Doppelganger, and then I brought out the 12, and then I brought out blah, 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 blah. And
I love short, sharp shocks.
Short, sharp shocks. Well, you like that?
I love Creepshow and Twilight Zone, and basically Tales from the Crypt and Creepshow are my jam. And so I've loved short, sharp shocks.
I have got a proper thank you for short, sharp shocks because I put a post up on Facebook saying I've got this comic that nobody's ever read, and it's available for like £1 or £1.99 or something like that. And then you put it up, and I got like about 15 downloads, and I got like 5 reviews within that same week, and I was like, yes. So I was made up.
All it takes is one person, y'all. All it takes, and I loved it. Loved it.
See, it was kind of a throwaway. It was kind of a throwaway for me. But there's a story in Short Sharp Shock called Graveyard Shift.
Yes.
The first one. That's going to be a novel.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah, so I've wrote that as a novel, but I've expanded on it. And then I've also wrote a sequel to that novel, which is going to be called Dark Spirits. And then, so the detective in that one is now going to be like my supernatural detective, and I'm going to bring out about 4 or 5 novels of him. I just ruined it for everyone there. So say he doesn't die in it. So there you go.
So do you write full time, or do you have like a day job?
I've got a day job now. Now what I did is I worked in IT for 25 years. Absolutely hated it. Loved the crack with the people in there who I worked with, but the job, oh my God, it was like. So redundancy came along, and the redundancy package was pretty fantastic. So I took the redundancy package, took last year off.
Oh.
And just pretty much, I did write full time. So I'm an early riser. So I was getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I was writing all day till 6, 7 o'clock at night. So I reckon I've got now probably about the next 4 years worth of novel releases done.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. That's impressive.
And that's like bringing out 2 to 3 novels a year, hopefully. So I just got to go through them and reiterate them and stuff like that. But I've done a lot of writing over the last year. So, but now that I've got a full-time job and I'm working from home. Now that I've got a full-time job working from home, my writing's been a little bit condensed because obviously I've got to pretend I'm doing this job. I'm not. If my boss is watching, I'm obviously doing the job.
I'm totally working.
I'm working. I'm working right now.
Yeah, I'm working.
I'm working so hard.
I'm working. Working it, baby. Working it, baby.
Usually our third question is, what was your favorite story you've written? But we already know that one because you already answered that question for us.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us instead, what do you have more fun doing? Your graphic novels or comics, or your novels?
Oh, good question.
Okay, right. Not graphic novels are my first love. They always have been, and they always probably will be. And the actual physical act of drawing a script, writing it into individual panels, and then giving it to the artist and getting the artist to draw what you've wrote is fabulous, and I absolutely love it. But it's expensive. Oh fuck, it's expensive. Oh my God, it's expensive. So writing a novel.
So buy his books, people who needs money for more graphic novels.
Please and thank you. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, this cardigan I'm wearing was what we buried me dad, and I had to go and get it.
Shut up.
That's so poor. Yeah. It wasn't really. I just wanted to see what he looked like. But it's the actual doing graphic novels is boss, and I absolutely love it. But the problem with graphic novels is that it is dead expensive to do, and it's also very niche. So if my allegory, for people always say to me, now, why have you moved from graphic novels to more novels? And I always say, my allegory is, if someone was looking for a present for their dad, and you said, well, you can either buy Doppelganger, which is an absolutely fantastic, dark, psychological horror, or you can buy Crack, which is a fantastic, dark, psychological horror. That's a graphic novel. That's a novel. They're always going to pick the novel, because you've got to be into the graphic novels. You've got to be into the comics if you're going to buy the comic. Yeah. Now, there's a huge market for it. It's just a little bit niche. And if you go on, they're all on Amazon, and they're probably my least best sellers. I mean, I brought out Death Day Presents earlier on this year. That's available on Godless as well. But the sales have been minimal, because people go for the novels more than you'll go for the graphic novels.
Well, I think graphic novels don't translate to digital the same way they.
I agree.
Like,
yeah.
I think when you read comic books and graphic novels, because my husband and I have extensive collection of graphics and comics with boxes and boxes, and even my kids love like comics and graphic novels. So, but when you read it on a Kindle or on your phone, there's a whole different feel to it. And I think those of us who are really into that niche, we just prefer to actually have our hands on them.
Right.
So, and the same with the manga readers and all of that. Like, we really love those physical copies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I read short, sharp shots through my Kindle, and I loved it. And so that was really the first time I had done a graphic novel digitally. And it really changed my perspective on that too. I was like, oh, well, and then I got Sick Bastards and read the graphic novel of that one digitally. So, you know, it definitely opened my eyes. Graphic novel, comic book readers, like, if you have not tried reading these on digital, believe me, you can do it. It's still enjoyable. But I do understand what your hesitation may have been going into that experience.
Yeah.
It is
what I did with Death Day Presents, because Death Day Presents is a 100-page graphic novel. Originally, I brought it out in 4 floppies, so there was 4 25-page episodes. But when they were all collated, it was three different artists, and the artist in the middle kind of went a different way, so it's difficult to sell as a full graphic novel. But so the 4 individuals, when I collated it as a graphic novel, I made it so there was like 4 parts, so you could still see that there was an artist progression. But what I did with Death Day Presents is I started messing about with the panel transitions on Amazon. And oh my God, I loved it, because what you can do is you can even though you got like a full page comic image, you can zoom in on the eyes. So you zoom in on the eyes, and then the next page it zooms out onto the face, and then you can zoom into the speech bubble, and it was almost, I felt like I was directing a movie.
Yeah. So you're basically animating it.
Animating it, so if you were to get it on Amazon,
God.
Yes. So the one on Godless is just a PDF, because obviously they haven't got that infrastructure in place. But on Amazon you can get it, and you get like a different sort of, you get my take of it, like the director's cut, as opposed to like the artist's cut. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
But
finding it
writing a
right
novel,
now.
I absolutely love writing a novel because you can just get lost in the whole world that you're creating, and it's like, you know. But what I did find from an early on in my novel writing career was that, and I talked to this about to my mates about it, and they're all like, "Oh, fuck off, Dave, you knobhead." And I'm going, no, it happens. Is the characters take on their own personality. So sometimes the character will be doing something that you don't really want them to do. And you think to yourself, how am I going to get to my ending now that character is that person? And
I've lost
so
control.
in Time Ripper, I did. In Time Ripper, I had this character, Aaron Kosminski, who I actually think was Jack the Ripper in real life anyway. But he started doing things, and I was thinking, don't fucking do that. Don't do that. And he did them. And I was
Please
like,
don't.
you bastard. And now I've got to fight around at it. Like, but I'm sorry, I'm swearing too much.
No, the fuck you're not.
Fuck you are. Look what I got. Look what
Oh,
I got.
happy days.
So y'all, if you go to find Death Day presents, it's under D.E. McCluskey.
D.E. McCluskey.
And
Yeah.
Death Day is all one word.
All
I
one
had to
word.
search around
Yeah.
a little bit, but there it is.
I grabbed me some doppelganger.
Oh, I added that one to my TBR too. So here's
now. Did you guys in America? There was back in the late 90s or the early 90s or late 90s. There was an advert for an alcoholic drink called Schnapps, and the advert was the Judderman.
No.
You guys know
that sounds amazing.
Okay, what you need to do?
Send me a YouTube link.
Get onto YouTube. Look the Judderman. Judderman, the Judderman, right? And it was an advert that ran in England for an alcoholic drink, and it's scary as fuck. Oh my god, it stuck with me all these years. And the artwork for Doppelganger is based on that advert. So I got the artist to do the artwork kind of based on sort of like the Eastern European shadow puppety type vibes.
Oh my god, yes.
The Judderman.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, what the fuck?
That's off. Beware the Judderman when the moon is fat. Yeah.
Oh my god, I
superb.
love it. Oh my god, yes. Oh, now I'm totally distracted. Okay, I gotta focus. Woo!
Focus.
The fourth of the rapid fire 4 questions, which were not very rapid or fire this time. This is my favorite one. If you could co-author with anyone living or dead, who would it be?
James Herbert.
Yeah, you've talked about him a lot.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Why?
Because I grew up on Stephen King. Yeah, my very first, even though I said I was scared when I was 14, still with the lights on, is probably because when I was 11, I read Skeleton Crew by Stephen King, which is a series of short stories. And then I went straight on to The Stand, and The Stand just blew me away. It was absolutely fantastic. But what I was getting with these short stories and The Stand and then It and stuff like that was this magical place called America, which I'd never been to America before. I'd only ever watched the telly. I'd watched Chips and the A-Team and stuff like that. But I was learning all about Maine and New England, and it was just all sort of like a magically type place. And they had like the snows came, and it was really hot in the summer. In England, we don't get that. Between January and December, all we get is grey. So all these stories were telling me that like there was like the Indian summer, and it was all gorgeous. And it was like, even though it was like the stories were horrific, it was like a magical fairy tale for me. Then I read James Herbert, right? And James Herbert was based in London. So a lot of his, like the Rats trilogy is based in London. And I could relate to what he was saying because it was like in a city. And then I read Haunted and that was like a little hamlet town in the middle of England, and I could relate to that because I'd been to that hamlet town. And James Herbert just fucking blew me away. Absolutely and utterly just brilliant. Just brilliant. But what did me head in, even as a 15, 16-year-old lad, in the James Herbert books, halfway through to be like the heroine would be running away with the hero, and you know the ghosts would be like killed everybody and like going for them. And then there'd be a 3-page sex scene, and you're like, the fuck? So I was turning over the 3-page sex scene, thinking to myself, I'll read that later when the lights are off.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Yeah, I was like that. I'm reading that one, wetting the pages, so I knew where they were. But that just did me head in because it was like it brought me out of the story. So that's the only thing about the James Herbert books that I always had a little bit of an issue with, but everything else about them.
What
second in all would be Richard Lehman.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
Richard
a name
Lehman.
that pops up a lot.
Oh
Richard
my God.
I have not read either of those authors yet.
I haven't read any Richard Lehman, and I'm starting to feel like I'm, falling behind because we do hear that name a lot.
There's a book by Richard Lehman called One Rainy Night, and it's what happens because there's like a
it rains.
Well, yeah. Hashtag spoilers. Oh my word. That's it. Yeah.
Go on.
No, but there's like a voodoo case gets put on, and this black rain falls, and every person who's caught in the black rain is just turned into a homicidal maniac, and you just got pure rage, and they just go and kill everybody who they can see. They're just pure, just go mad. So
what is it again?
Well, One Rainy Night. So in the novel which I'm bringing out, which is a YA novel, this glimmer, this fantasy one, I've stolen it.
You don't tell people that. Don't tell anybody that.
No,
you didn't say that. You didn't hear anything.
But I credit him at the end, so it's all right. So it's good.
Okay.
But there's a thing in it where the black rain comes and that turns people. But that book left a proper imprint on me. It must have been about 30 years ago that I read that book, and it's just,
how could it be that long ago? You're only 29.
I was an early learner.
Donna, you are not going to want to hear this, but it is free on KU.
Oh, for God's
So,
sake.
yep, you're going to have to go ahead and add that one to the list. Because if I have to suffer, you have to suffer. Ha ha.
There's another one by his called The Stake, it's a vampire one.
Oh, now see, I'm not big into vampires.
No, well, this is like an alternative vampire one. It's not like your everyday vampire one.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Clucky.
probably I won't even tell you, but that was the first one I read. Was The Stake.
The Stake. Did you ever see the movie Stake Land?
No.
Oh, you should.
Well, makes me feel hungry though.
Yeah, right. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's lunchtime.
You're right.
Steak land with sauce.
Well, friend, you have successfully survived the test of the rapid fire 4 for now. This time, we'll get you next time. So we will.
I'm quite fast on my feet. I'm faster than I look.
You have proven that. You have proven that with great excellence.
We've absolutely loved spending time with you.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, this has been amazing.
Is it over already?
Not quite, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. We just
like we just started.
I
know. Don't be sad. It's okay. But why don't you? I know you've touched on it pretty much throughout this entire episode, but if you want to just like lay out there what you got coming up for release. Like I said, I know you've mentioned it, but just so people are reminded, because we want them to buy your books so you can put out more graphic
content.
novels.
Okay, so this year I've got Glimmer, which is the first part of the Glimmer trilogy, which it's going to be Glimmer, The City of the Fireflies, and The Throne of Glim, and the first two end on cliffhangers, and then it's all wrapped up in the third part. So I wanted to make sure that I brought them all out in the first year. So they're coming out April, August, and December. Okay. So then in May or April, I can't remember which one now, I'm bringing out The Seagull Tale, which is my children's book. And then towards like November, I'm going to be bringing out the special stuff, which is going to be an extreme horror novel based around a kebab shop. Ooh. And then what have I got? I've got a novel called The Boyfriend. I've got a novel called 9 Months. I've got a novel called Graveyard Shift. I've got a novel called Gore, The Witches of Liverpool. I've got a novel called Dark Spirits. I've got one called
wait, this is all for 2022?
No, this is when I said to you before. I said
okay. Because I'm like okay. Now we're just overachieving.
Right, overachiever. Damn it.
But I wrote them all last year when I was off and I was doing it full time. So I'm looking at my phone, and if I just show you dead quick, book ideas. So I don't know whether you can see it. So I've got all these, and they're all written.
Wow.
So
they're all written?
They're all written. Yeah. So there's one
Ask
called
Eric more. You better start pumping them out even faster, because this man's about to run you down.
These are novels. These aren't novellas. They're full-on novels. Because I struggled writing a novella. I started writing a short story for Kevin Kennedy.
Yeah.
He brings out the anthologies at Christmas.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So he asked me, he said, will you do a short story for a Christmas anthology? So I was like, yeah, okay then. So I wrote this story about Father Christmas, who gets attacked by a werewolf. I thought, right, okay, this is going to be a nice little short story. And then 4 months later, 75,000 words later, I think this isn't going into some Christmas anthology. This is fucking novel. So
no, Frank, you're just a verbal processor. That's what we call it in the world of mental health. You're a verbal processor.
I'd say verbal diarrhea myself.
Well, yeah, me too.
Processor. If people are going to purchase your books, where do you I know you do a lot of distribution through Amazon, but where do you prefer they buy from? What best benefits you? How do we best support you with our financial contribution?
If you look on Amazon, all my books are available on Amazon. If you look on Godless, they're a lot cheaper on Godless than they are on Amazon, because I want to support Godless, because I think what Godless is doing for the indie writing, because like Amazon is just, if I didn't have to use Amazon, I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. It's like Facebook. I absolutely, even though I'm saying this now, and anybody who knows me will watch this and go, he's talking out of his ass there because he's on Facebook 24/7. But I wouldn't use Facebook if I didn't have to, because it's horrible. It's a horrible platform.
I was just talking about that with Brad Tierney this morning. I was like, we've got to find a new place for us all to hang out, because Facebook just ain't it anymore.
Facebook is just shit.
Yeah, it's trash.
But Twitter's a cesspool, and Instagram I just don't know how to use. So it's one of them. But so you can get it through Godless, you can get it through Amazon. But I also get the printed copies and sign, and I'll distribute them anywhere in the world. So obviously the packaging, since fucking Brexit, since the bellends who are in charge of England, I've got us into Brexit. Everything's gone dead expensive. So the packaging over to the Americas and Australia and stuff like that has just rocketed. But I've worked it out. So for the likes of Cravens and Zola and the Grinkle Monk, which are the thinner books, which are the novellas, it works out at $19, and that'll get you the signed
Oh
copy.
yeah, that's not bad.
I think for a full novel, I think it works out around about $26.
That's
And
still not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
That includes all the packaging, everything, and the signature and stuff like that, and it's away.
Oh,
So
that's lovely.
I would love people to get in touch with me and say I want physical copies, because I always have them in, and Lauren's pissed off dusting them down. When are you going to sell these books? I'm like, I don't know. When am I going to sell these books? But yeah, it's there. So I always, and I post all the time, and I sometimes think I post too much. I sometimes think that people just get like, oh fucking hell, here's McCluskey pushing his books again. But
Well, you have to. I mean,
you have to. You have to
You
every day.
do.
Yeah,
you have to.
If you're not going to self-promote, who is? Like, as much as people such as myself and Donna want to help as much as possible, we are one person, and there are literally over 100 of you that we have become friendly with, and we want to help support everybody, but that means everybody has to get a turn.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the truth. Yeah, there's so many of us. Yeah. But it's like what I love about Facebook, and what I love about the little community that we've got on the Splatterpunk and books of horror and stuff like that, is that people get caught up in a fantastic zeitgeist. Like Daniel Volpe, his books. I actually haven't read any Daniel Volpe's yet. I've got a couple of them downloaded and ready to go. But everything he brings out just goes boom. And I absolutely love that, because of the fact that he's bringing them out himself. He's self-publishing them.
Yeah.
And anybody who self-publishes, I've got utter respect for him, because it's so fucking hard to do. So yeah,
I'm honestly shocked that Zola didn't catch that wave, because when Zola came out and I read it, I was talking about it everywhere. Like I talked about Zola in the first episode. Every time somebody is like wanting like
a gross book,
gross out book, because I tag you every time. I'm like, Zola, like you don't understand what you're missing. Like, if that's what you want, this is it.
So that's one of the things that I get caught up with when I'm recommending books, because somebody say, oh, what's the grossest book you've read, blah blah blah, or what's the most disturbing? And of course there's all these books that I want to recommend, but I have to look through the comments, because I like to tag the authors, and I don't want to have one author tagged like 50 times in the same freaking post.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, Zola's already been mentioned, so I'll mention these books, know.
And I understand, because there's so many fucking good books out there. Do you know what I mean? And there's the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist covers everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're all in the same boat, and just anybody who's self-publishing, I just absolutely ultimate respect for them. Do you know what I mean? It's just boss.
Yeah,
it's a boss little community. Long may it live.
Cheers.
Yes.
What
I
time
have
is
nothing but a cat and a 9-year-old, so I can't cheers with you.
What time is it there? What time are you guys?
It is 3:25 in the afternoon.
And you're not drinking?
I can't do alcohol anymore. I'm lame. No. I mean, not a lot, not all the time.
I love nothing more than to drink a bottle of red wine, right? But Lauren, she knows when to tell me to stop drinking the red wine, because I start talking with a South African accent. I cannot do a South African accent sober, but when I'm online, when I'm drinking the red wine,
I type with a South African accent.
I totally type with a South African accent.
It's time to stop that red wine. Move on to.
I think we need to see the gorgeous Lauren.
I was going to say, your dear wife, like, let me see this
she's in her pajamas.
Woman who deals with you all day.
He's just hid because she's in her pajamas.
Bless you, you poor thing.
her mum lives in California, so and she's just been home, but then she's just gone back yesterday. So she's just on the FaceTime
Video chat.
video chat. Yeah.
Hey, Clucky, you need to send me your full bibliography. Not that I can fit all of it in the show notes, but send me the highlights of the stuff that you would like me to include in today's show notes. Also, friends, going back to if you want to get in touch with Clucky about getting his books or anything, we all, myself, Donna, David, we're all in books of horror. We're all in Splatterpunk readers. We're all in those groups. But even more important, we are all in the Mothers of Mayhem official Facebook group. And that's where all the promo for this is going to start popping up. You can find links to all of our different social medias through our link trees, pinned posts on that group. And as always, please send your questions, comments, insults to our email address, momextremepodcast@gmail.com. That's m.o.m.extremepodcast@gmail.com. Do not forget to send dildos to Christina and DM me if you need her mailing address. Yes, David, that includes you. Like we already determined, you're pretty clever with the shipping. So shipping a dildo to Alaska really wouldn't cost you probably more than double the cost of the dildo.
Did they need to be new ones or?
No, used is fine.
Used is fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it only has to be in acceptable condition. It's the principle of the thing.
Yeah, it's better than putting them in the landfill, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, and they do have to be at least 14 inches long.
They do. I mean, ever since she read Neil, she has a certain
Because everything say 14 inches wide.
Yeah. 14 inches. It has to be 14 inches by 14 inches.
Wow.
I mean, Christina is a hell of a woman.
She's a hell of a woman.
Just telling you right now. If you've read Duncan Ralston's Womb, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
As always, I have to give a huge thank you to Amigo the Devil for allowing us to use his song Hungover in Jonestown as our theme song. And I tell you on every episode, if you're an extreme horror fan and you're not listening to his music, you're really, really missing out because he basically does what our authors do, but he sets it to some awesome tunes. So you got to get on that because he's amazing. Fuck yeah.
And who's going to be hanging out with you and Christina next?
Oh my God. Okay, so we actually will not have an author on for the next episode, but what we are doing is you will be getting a first quarter of 2022 rundown of all of the books that myself, Christina, and the magical Brad Tierney have read within the
been kicked off Facebook, by the way.
Yes. Well, he and I are like Facebook criminals because he finally got fully suspended. I have been put in Facebook jail multiple times.
I've been in jail
because
once.
we're too rammy.
Yeah.
But he will be with us, and all three of us will be going through the books that we've read through the first 3 months of the year and kind of giving you a rundown of what we've loved so far and what we're looking forward to. And I can't wait to do this because he is an absolute.
If you're speaking to Brad, I don't know whether Brad's actually read Zola, but I think that would be right up his tree.
Oh my God, yes, I have to double check. I will tell him right today because I'll probably message him after this.
Yeah.
Yes, I will ask him if he read it because oh my God, if he hasn't, he's gonna flip.
He did me a fabulous review for Crack. Absolutely loved his review that he did for me for Crack. But I don't know whether he's read Zola, and I just think that he would love both Cravens and Zola. You know?
Oh, I will tell him he needs to do that before we get together to do our thing with him. Yeah. If y'all who are listening are not familiar with our Facebook community, Brad Tierney is like the male version of Donna. Like Brad is another one of our celebrity super fans. Brad is so popular amongst the authors and the reviewers and people like myself and David and Donna that Brad recently just got his own anthology of short subversive horror stories dedicated to him. It's called Brad Nomicon. Were you not allowed to be a part of it?
I didn't know it was happening.
Oh no!
If I'd have known that was happening, I'd have wrote him a fucked up book.
I think you should do it anyway because you know how happy that would make his fuzzy little bear heart. Oh my God.
I've still got the idea of writing it. I think I've got an idea of what I would do, but I would write it in heavy metal script so you wouldn't be able to read it.
Oh my God. Oh, you know what you need to do?
Yeah.
You need a heavy metal werebear and its name needs to be Brad.
Brad.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's what one of my goals is. My goals is to have an anthology dedicated to me. But right now I'm satisfied with being killed in several books.
Yeah, the Donanomicon.
Yeah.
The Donanomicon.
Donanomicon.
We have the Brad Nomicon. We need the Donanomicon.
I think the Donanomicon is like proper boss to say. It feels
really
good
in
your mouth. The Donanomicon.
Love it. Y'all, if you are listening to this, you know what
make it happen.
Do.
Yeah, let's do it. And I want to be involved. Get me involved. I'll write something fucked up for you, Donna.
Well, there, David. Now you have to spearhead this. Now you have to do the Donanomicon.
Don't give me responsibility for anything. I haven't got a responsible, organized bone in my body. I could not organize anything.
Says the man who has a 10-page document with 500 novel ideas. All of which he's already completed. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to sell some of them because I think I'm going to be like, I'll be dead before I get around to some of them.
You're ridiculous. But I love ya. I love ya. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I love both of you to itty bitty pieces, and y'all are lucky that we are not actually in the same room together because I would probably kill you with the awesome crushing power of my hugs.
So I should be careful at AuthorCon.
Oh yeah. You might want to make sure that you've got your advanced directives updated and that your husband knows how to pay the bills if something should happen to you.
Hey, don't be looking at me. She pays all the bills. I am.
Right? And I pay all the bills. So I assume that Donna pays all the bills too. So
women, seriously,
dang, I'm so jealous.
women to me are they are the responsible ones. They know what they're doing. I don't mind having a woman boss because she's been my boss for years. She tells me what to do and I fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? I have literally become one hell of a control freak simply because I have just been handed this amount of responsibility, and I'm still like, shouldn't my dad be doing this? But no,
right? What the fuck?
Somebody thought that it was a good idea to put me in charge.
There's no misogyny here. Get it all. Get it.
No thanks. I'd like to give some of that back.
I believe in equality. That means you do it all. I'll just sit here looking pretty.
I am a boss bitch.
You're a strong, independent woman. And I'm just a pretty male. With bad hair like
I'm a delicate fucking flower.
I am a fucking delicate flower. Seriously. Honest to God. Pick me and smell me.
You know. This is literally one of the best episodes we've ever done. God damn it. Oh my God. This is amazing. Okay. All right, children. Until next time, please go raise some hell.
And you got to make your weird book mommies and your weird book godmother proud.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is amazing. I fucking love you. Oh, bye. Oh, good. I was going to say goodbye, David. I love you, Clucky.
Life is a joke, and death is the punchline. Oh, la, 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 la,